really and truly
And sorry, how does this transition into property as well?
So when I was speaking to people and understanding how people were making money and all that kind of stuff, you see a lot of developers, you see a lot of investors, people that had multiple mortgages coming out of their personal account, etc. So you'd be wondering, like, what's that about, or why do you have so many mortgages, or why do you have so many different things? And then they'll talk to you about that, and you would see that consistently. And I've even seen through £1 Million Homes, a lot of people that live in certain types of homes or are doing certain things, they've been in property, or they're a property developer or something like that. So it's
the most common.
It was very common for people that were doing well, I would say. They were developers. So that made me think, okay, so clearly there's something here. And that's when I started looking into property. Fortunately, because I went to banking, I could get a good understanding of mortgages, etc. So at that time, that's when I explored getting my first property. And my first property was with my friend James. It was a mixed-use property in Blackburn. It's 2-bedroom flat upstairs and a barbershop downstairs.
That's kind of a different one for a first property. Well, why'd you go down that route?
So the reason why we done that is because we were looking for cash flow.
Okay.
So I'm sure most people have said this, but Rich Dad Poor Dad opens your eyes.
You
know what I'm saying? It opens your eyes to many different
100%.
things. And that was, I read that in my first year working in Barclays. I listened to it, the audiobook. And I was just thinking, we need cash flow. So there's no point of buying a buy to let. That's if we're going to be very low yield. You're going to make a few £100 a month or whatever. Exactly. Where mixed use properties we found had a better yield, etc. So even if, for example, the flat is empty, at least you've got the barbershop who's in a long lease.
Oh, so you wanted to still maintain the mixed use of it, basically. Okay,
we weren't converting it. We just wanted the income.
Okay.
So we saved up a certain amount of money and we bought the mixed use property, and it was about 13% yield.
Okay.
And you kept it as barbershop on the bottom floor. Oh, nice.
Kept it up right up until we sold it recently.
And the barber was consistent. The barber business was consistent in paying and no issues.
Yeah, we'll get to that. so but yeah, that was our first property.
Okay, cool.
And after that, we bought some new builds, but we bought at a discount.
Okay.
So I bought another one in like Sunbury.
Okay.
And
Sunbury, what area is that?
It's like Sunbury on Thames. It's near Staines.
Staines, okay.
Yeah.
And when you say discount, how were you able to get that discount?
So because it was developer was struggling to sell. So really and truly, they were happy to let it go at 20% discount. So we were able to. So I borrowed. Me and my friend borrowed money from friends, etc. We're like, look, this is a great opportunity. Let's buy it. That one, there wasn't really a proper strategy. It was just
let's just get it.
Let's just get it.
Just vibes. Just do it.
let's just get it. And then the next one after that was we got 6 flats in Norwich. 6 new build flats. They sold that to us at 25% discount.
And bought them as a block, or
so it was an office converted into residential.
Yeah,
and it was 45 units. So they had sold 39. They only needed to sell the remaining 6.
Cool.
So we came along basically saying that, look, we've got this unorthodox structure, which means that we can buy your flats very quickly. And that's basically.
It was a cash buy, I'm assuming, auction or.
So there was I won't even say that. There was an agent, but they were selling below market value deals. So they approached us basically saying that, look, there's an opportunity here. You can buy it at this discount. Now, the problem is with a lot of below market value deals is that, at the time, from what I remember, we would have to put a deposit down. Even if it was a below market value deal, we wouldn't be able to use the discount. Now, some lenders can do it, some can't. From my understanding, if you use bridging finance, they may be able to, etc. But we needed it on a buy-to-let mortgage, so they weren't going to use the discount. So what we did was we set up a corporate structure where basically we had 2 companies, and one company was going to be buying the flats at full market value, and then the developer was going to invest the 25% deposit into a separate company that we set up. So essentially. And that company would loan the money to the company that was buying the flats. Wow. So essentially, it will be a full price purchase, but really and truly, we're only buying it for 75%.
How did you start? Is this a broker?
No, so this is me and my friend. But my friend worked in wealth management. So in business is quite a common transaction. In corporate, corporate transaction is quite common, whereas in property it's not. So we had to get a commercial lawyer and a residential lawyer on it because it was quite different because it was a simultaneous transaction.
And is this a strategy you use again, or is it just for that deal?
So I would use it again,
Yeah.
but it was a hassle. I can't lie, it was a hassle, and doing certain transactions like that increases your legal fees, etc. So it was a good way to do it. And if my sole focus was on property investments and bulk purchasing and things like that, then I'll do it, or I'll buy bulk properties in limited companies.
Okay.
I'll do it like that.
Yeah,
But
and
it's
in
just not my
terms of
focus.
raising finance for these deals, like how were you able to do that? Was this from the previous properties that you had, or was it like loans as well from friends?
So
again?
that was friends, loans, etc. Because on that deal we didn't have to put a deposit down. It was only transactional fees, but the transactional fees were expensive: stamp duty, legal fees, surveys, etc. So, but that was just more friends.
See, if that makes sense to us, but I remember we did one TikTok where we said, borrowed the money from a friend. We got slewed in the comments.
Essentially,
Slewed in the
basically,
comments.
there's a project that we're doing in Cannock in Birmingham, and we're raising private finance to cover part of the deposit.
Yeah.
And as part of the TikTok, I said, we'll borrow X amount from friends and family to pay it off, and then
Because that's what like in our circle, that's what we're used to. You know, what I mean? That's quite common.
But why were they slewing you? What was the
Like,
I think
your friends are just gonna have 50k or 20k or this that.
But I don't
You
think
know
people
what
get the context of like,
Yeah, it's
for example,
just-
you can have a friend that's just got an inheritance, or they just remortgage a house, or
Or just stacks.
or just save money.
or just save.
money.
And that's the funny thing. I think like because a lot of the time when you see these comments, and sometimes it happens on £1 million homes or whatever it is, that people are like, who has this money? Who can do this? How did they do this? I think to myself, like, and to be fair, I used to think like that slightly as well. Like, who has
even me, so
20
level,
yeah, like you would think that.
Yeah.
there's
Because then
levels.
you see a lot of content online will be like raising private finance,
Yeah.
for example. And okay, we find an investor, he has 50k in savings, and we give him a certain percentage.
Yeah.
And then I get it. Some people will be like, well, who has 50k in savings?
Yeah.
Obviously, there's different places where you can find investors, but at the same time, even whether it's a family friend or if it's an uncle or somebody you don't even realize has that money saved.
Has it?
But if you put yourself out there saying, look, I am looking for this is my process, or I'm giving fixed returns, somebody is going to make themselves known.
I
see what I'm saying?
think this year, I think they were making a priority to kind of show that to the community. I think there's a misconception that, I don't know, our community don't have money or something like that, where just by going to your auntie at church and saying, auntie, I know you have 5 homes in Peckham that you bought 20 years ago, and I know you got some equity built there. Do you
100%.
mind if I go to Liverpool and help you invest, and I'll take a percentage of that?
There you go.
It's as easy as that. It doesn't have to be mad complicated.
But that's this the thing that you just said, for example. So a lot of people would ask, so like my home in Brixton, as I said, that's the home that we grew up in, but I own that house with my parents now, and I've owned it since 2015. Now obviously there was a inheritance tax thing, that's the reason why, main reason why we done it. So obviously now I wouldn't have to pay inheritance tax on that property. But really and truly, my dad was like, look, when we were remortgaging the property, because he wanted money to do other things, my mum wanted to do other things, etc. He was like, look, if you want to take a certain amount of money to go and buy more property, you can. Like, if you think about the amount of, like you said, aunties and uncles or parents or whatever it is that have homes and they've had the homes since the 1990s or whatever, then everyone can do it to some extent. But even if it is, like, for example, council properties,
Fact, even that,
as you know, right to buy,
100%.
I tell everyone,
the best scheme out there.
I tell everyone, please,
Please.
it doesn't matter if you're in a council, but go and get your flat.
Just get
I don't care if
trust
it's in
me,
Woolwich,
just get
Beckham,
just go and
anywhere
get your
in
flat.
London, it's making sense.
It just makes sense.
Yeah.
So whatever your situation is, if, as I said, if you are in a council flat, or if your parents did buy their home a few years ago, you can speak to your parents and say, look, this is what the situation is, or this is what I've seen. Maybe they might not trust you yet. Maybe they need to see like you've got a better idea that they want to maybe invest in to some extent, or there's a certain property deal that they want to invest in with you. Maybe you just have to wait. But there's options. There's a lot of options.
You're touching on an important point. I think everyone that can and has raised finance for deals, I think we're just considered, I don't know, special. You come from a privileged background. My parents didn't give me no money. I think the first investment I came from was actually for a rent deal, and this is just for my boy. Do you know what I'm saying? And it doesn't have to be every deal, like we're buying a property. I think he put together 4k for a deal, and he had 2k. I had 2k. That's still raising finance. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. And then the second deal came from an investor that I was managing properties for, and he's a director. And he was just like, yeah, you saw some properties for me and my friends. Why don't you just get one together? And it happens more naturally than you think it does. It's not like you
100%.
just go online and say, I want, or sometimes now, but it doesn't happen like that all the time. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
and I will say
like
as well that you put yourself out there.
You
for
put yourself
it to
out
happen.
there. Yeah,
you don't just sit back and let something hopefully happen and wish for something. Like you actually put yourself out there. You let them know this is what I do, and they came to you and said, okay, let's talk. You know what I'm saying?
So that's the funny thing. So even with that, like when we bought the Norwich flats, so we were obviously it was a big transaction. So we were speaking to different people to see like how we can raise the money or whether we should give the deal to someone else. But I remember at the time people would say, don't worry about the money. Like the money will come. Just make sure the deal is good.
You said that a lot in property.
You think to yourself, how? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah,
like,
they do that a lot in property. Yeah.
Just bring
and
the deal. The money will come. It always works because,
I don't know how.
And that's when you realize like money actually isn't the problem. It's the quality of the deal. If you've got a good quality deal and you've got a good network or you've got access, then you'll be able.
The deal's not good enough.
Yeah. If the deal's not good enough,
the deal's not good enough. Numbers aren't good enough.
Yeah.
And I think another great point actually is there's something I noticed is that the older community really do want to work with us. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, for example, you have a lot of people that are in their 40s, 50s, work really good jobs or they're retired or etc. They don't want to run around. Yeah. They don't want to do the work. They're tired. They've done all the work for the last 25, 30 years. They want you as their younger cousin, nephew, cousin, whatever it is, community, to go and do the work, to go and find that deal, to source it, to manage it, etc. and handle that process. So everyone has the opportunity. You know what I mean? In fact, you live in London, you know what I mean? Your boss's uncle, sister's mum has money. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just about
putting yourself out.
So that's a good point.